Hey, we're going to take a look today at the Rover body mounts. They fit on a CMAX and a CMAX 2 exactly the same way. The 3D printed parts that you're going to actually produce are these little slotted brackets right here. They've got countersunk holes on the bottom. They fit in the vehicle like this, kind of in the front like this. And then you're going to produce this block. It's got 3 mount screws at the back. This goes to the rear of the vehicle. And then you'll see that there's these plungers on it. So what these are is simply a block. You have to produce 2 of them from the file set. And then they're held in with a little M2 screw. And in between them is a pen spring. So find the favorite pen that you absolutely can't stand using and steal the spring out of it. So there's a big square all the way through the entire block. There's a big square that goes all the way through. There's 2 little slots on the surface, 3 mounting holes in the back, and then you're going to produce 2 of these blocks. The hardware here is a metric 3 set screw. Pretty straightforward. Any old set screw will do. You don't need a very long one. It has to stick out about 2 millimeters. That's it. So get a short set screw for M3. And then on the other side is exactly the same. If you have to, you can file down the edges of the blocks, the slide blocks, so that they will move freely in the bore of this bigger block. And then this is a little M2 screw, and a pen spring. So there's your hardware. You're going to build this little thing. This is going to mount with the 3 holes toward the back of the Rover. So this goes in like this, flat side up, holes to the back. And that way you can, when you turn the truck over, you can access these 2 to pinch them together and remove the frame. These blocks actually clip right into the CMAX frame rails in the rear. CMAX 1, CMAX 2 is exactly the same. So let's turn this over and you can see. This is my CMAX 1 Rover. You can see the blocks here are printed in white this time. And the front ones sit, I'll try to show that off. This thing is heavy. The front ones are sitting right in the rounded corner of the bumper, and they sit just outside the frame rail. You see there's a space in between for a nut. You see the little nut right there? The nut is there because you're going to put a screw in from the inside of the rail towards the outside, but you have to secure it somehow. So there's a little nut there, and then the nut allows the screw to stay in the frame, and you can see the slot right there. So these screws on the 3D print are countersunk. You can put a flathead there so they don't actually catch on anything. And you assemble them into the body. You glue it on to the bottom of the front end support. You glue it on, and then you can drill 2 little tiny holes and put a couple of M3 screws in it. Just makes it extra secure. So that's how that fits. I'm sorry this is all apart, but I'll show you how it works. And then in the rear, this is a heavy truck. In the rear, you've got the big block, like this. There's the big block. You can see how the little side tabs would actually fit inside the rail like this. And the set screw pops out and fits in the frame hole right there. And that gives it like a little extra security. These are screwed in from the back. So what you're going to do here is, before the tailgate goes on, you see the screw holes there? There's 3 screw holes right there. And that's how that attaches. And it sits level so that the bottom of the mount block is level with the actual rear bumper support, the bottom of the cargo tray or whatever it's called. That's how that sits. It's in line with the bumper. So we're going to pull that off so you can see. This thing is huge, man. Wow. and it's heavy. All right, I'm going to pinch this, both sides, and then I'm going to drop the frame out from underneath. This one has a spring in it that's actually too long, so it's surprisingly hard to get out. I really should fix that. There we go. So that comes out like that. This design is actually changed a little bit since that one, and it's considerably easier to use. There's more space in between so that the pins will disappear completely. That one there is a little bit too long. And then you slide the chassis rearward so you can drop it out of the body and slide it backwards. And that will actually release the pins in the front. There we go. So you see the pins are just screws that fit in with a nut on the outside. Like that. And there's the sockets and the block. So the assembly is pretty straightforward. This will sit right in the front frame. You just slide it forward here. And when that's all the way forward, you can pinch the blocks in the back and get them to fit on. Like that. Make sure the pins are out. The slot pins are out all the way so that it's capturing the frame, and you're done. Very, very solid. It allows you to keep using the interior. And of course I got tons of junk in there. But this is a big heavy truck. The CMAX 1 and the CMAX 2 fit exactly the same on this chassis. So using these mounts, the front and the rear frame sections are the same, so these work great. And that's the Rover body mounts.